Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. In this week's guitar lesson, we're going to take a look at an original composition that I'm playing on acoustic guitar, although you could do this on electric as well. And this lesson really serves two purposes. One, you have a standalone piece that you can play on your own. You don't need any accompaniment, you don't need another musician or a jam track. All you need is a guitar and a pick, and you can play this for anyone. So that's one big benefit. The other reason we're doing it is to work on rhythm. So this is all about strumming and the right hand and how you get a rhythm going while throwing in some lead licks. So you're going to be kind of alternating back and forth in this, playing most of its rhythm, but there are some fill licks that are thrown in as well. So you get all of that in this lesson. Now I've got it split into two parts. In this video we're going to take a look at the first half. If you'd like to watch the second half, as well as download the tablature and have access to the on-screen tab viewer, you can get all of that at ActiveMelody.com. Just look for EP169. That's a lesson number for this lesson. So let's go ahead and get started with part one. Alright, so I'll apologize in advance for this guitar because it does not have the fret markers on it, and I don't have the guitar with me that has them. But we should be fine because everything we're going to be doing, pretty much everything, is in these first three frets anyway, so it should be easy to follow along. I also wanted to just make a quick statement here at the beginning. I do get the occasional comment from people saying that I talk too much and I spend too much time beating up certain points. If that's you, if you feel that way, you're more of an intermediate player, you might want to check out the premium membership at Active Melody because I have a slow walkthrough version of every one of these videos where I don't say anything. It's just me playing through it slowly with the tab on the screen. You can pause it, you can loop it, you can do all of that. So I did want to just mention there is an option for those of you that feel like this is too mundane. But I want to have that for those of you that need the extra hand holding and need that little bit of extra encouragement and to know the whys behind everything. I think that's important. So just remember there's different types of learners and we all learn differently. So okay, so this song is in the key of E. It's in standard tuning. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start off with this Johnny Cash style lick. And you know, it's kind of corny, I know, but it's kind of reminded me of something you'd hear in a Johnny Cash song. I'm on the second fret, 6th string, and I'm doing a half bend. It's not a full bend. I'm using both fingers, and I'm pulling that string up and then releasing it and playing the open 6th string. That's how I started. And now once I hit that open 6th string, that's the 1 of the next measure. So that's where we really start the rhythm. You can skip that Johnny Cash twang thing if you want. But in the tablature for this, I do have all the strum strokes on there, so all the downs and ups. So that'll make this easy if you want to print that off and follow along that way. So this first stroke, strum, is a downstroke on the 6th string, and then we're going to do this. So it's down, 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 up. Now this is with an E chord. And now when I'm doing the down ups, I'm just playing the top 3 strings here out of the chord. Don't get too caught up if you hit the 4th string or whatever. That's why you make the full chord, so you can bump other strings and it'll be okay. So it's down, 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 up. And then we're going to go. Now that gets us to the A part of the song. So that's the 3rd fret, 6th string. We're going to do that same little twang bend thing. And I'm kind of pulling it up a little bit and then playing the open 5th string. Both of those are downstrokes. And now I'm going to make an A7 chord, and to do that I'm going to bar the first 4 strings on the 2nd fret, and then I use my ring finger on the 3rd fret, 1st string. You may want to use your middle finger, whatever's easiest, but that's an A7 chord. Now once we make that chord, it's an easy chord to make. Once we make the chord, we're going to go, and you can see there's these little pops that happen where I'm muting the string, so it's down, down. So you play the 5th string, then part of the chord, and then we're going to do 2 upstrokes, up, up. And notice between the upstrokes, I mute the sound with my hand here. Okay, so let's back it up. We have, and then the last thing I play in that measure is I go right back to the E chord and play the top 3 strings of that E chord again. And play the top part of it and then do a downstroke on the 6th string. Now measure 4, it sounds like this. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm going from an E chord, downstroke, downstroke, back to a downstroke again on the 6th string. And then I put my pinky down on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. That makes an E6 chord. And I do a up, down, up, down. So we go down, 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 up, down. And then I do an up, and then a down again. Every time I hit that down, that open note, that's usually always the first measure of the, or first beat of the next measure. So now we're in measure 5, and I'm referring to the tab, but that's where we are. So when we back up, okay, pretty cool. You've already got a rhythm going. Now, if you're having a hard time at this point, don't move on. Just try and get it working. Even slow it down, but try and get it accurate. You don't have to be fast, but just get it at a tempo that you can do it. Even if it's really slow, that's okay. Your speed will come. Now, measure 5, we have down, down, up. And then I went and walked right up to the B7. And that's what measure 5 looks like. So down, down, up, open 5th string, 1st fret on the 5th string. Those are just 2 downstrokes. And then I go to a B7 chord, which I'm playing with my middle finger and ring finger on the 2nd fret, strings 5 and 3. I've got my index finger on the 1st fret, 4th string, and then I put my pinky down. There's different ways to do this, but I always put my pinky down here on the 2nd fret, 1st string, and make it that way. Really nice, full sounding B7th chord. And the way we're going to strum this goes like this. Down, 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 up, down. And then I came up here and played an upstroke on the 1st string and went. And you'll find that that's just alternate picking, down, up, down, up, down, up. So from the B7, your pinky here on the 2nd string, you're going to hit that with an upstroke and slide with your pinky up to the 4th fret on the 1st string. And then you're going to do another upstroke on the open 1 string. And now we're going to play on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. Take that off. There's an upstroke on the open 2nd string. So we have up, up, down, up, down. That's a down on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, up on the open 2nd string, and then a down on the open 3rd string, and then an up on the 1st fret, 3rd string. So then when you put it all together, it sounds like this. And you want to make it fluid. You see that I'm not playing it robotic. It's not. It's dot, 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 dot. It's got a little swing to it. All 8th notes. Now that may take some practice to get that fluid, but you can do it. Just practice it over and over again. In fact, just do that one measure, set a metronome, whatever you have to do just to start getting that flow down. Okay, let's back up from the beginning. We have okay, now after I hit that 3rd string, 1st fret, that's really an E chord. You can see an E chord. That's that note out of the E chord. So my hand just goes ahead. These 2 fingers come down in place for the E chord, and then I do the downstroke on the 1 of the next measure on the 6th open 6th string, like that. Okay. Now I did want to just mention, I didn't want to just throw out these notes, I guess, without giving the context. What I did there was, if you think of E, think of your nut being your root fret. You know, I go over this in other videos. So pattern 1 of the minor pentatonic scale would look like that. Most of those would be on the open strings. So pattern 2 of the major pentatonic scale would be there, right? So when I did this, that's just playing right out of the major pentatonic scale for E. And that goes into the minor. So this is where he mixed the major and minor. There's the minor again. So I have a whole lesson on mixing the major and minor pentatonic scale. If you haven't seen that, just do a search for it. Do a search for the word mixing and you'll find it on the Active Melody Lessons page. But that's why that works. Now, another little added tip for you, or another little extra practice tip would be do that same lick in a different key. So if we're in G, see how it all relates to the chord. There's your root fret. It's the same thing we just did there. It just helps you kind of visualize that scale so that you can use that run in something else. If you're playing a blues, you can start to work those little licks in. Don't just let it be one piece, one time. It's something that becomes part of your vocabulary. Now you can use that phrase and other things. It takes some practice. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, you learn it, there you go, you're done. I get it. It takes some practice and doing it over and over again. But you will learn these things and they will stick. Okay. So then we get to this little rockabilly type part. Sounds like something you'd hear George Harrison or like Carl Perkins do. Kind of cool. And it's really going back and forth between the E chord and that E6 chord by introducing that sixth. Let me show you how to play it. It's really not that hard, but you're going to have to slow it down in the beginning. So we're going to do an open 6th string. I'm making an E chord with my left hand. Open 6th string. The top part of the chord, top 3 strings. Down, down, down again, back to the low 6th string. Now I'm going to introduce my pinky back to the 2nd fret, 2nd string, and I'm going to play an up and then a down, keeping the pinky down, sorry. So it's down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And then at this point I'm going to do an upstroke, and I'm going to take my index finger off their fretboard and go. So you can see it's a hammer-on with an upstroke with my right hand. And then I'm going to do another upstroke on the top string, the top 1 string or the top 2 strings. If you bump the top 2, that's okay. So let's back up. We have. Okay, that's the hardest part of the whole thing. And now we're going to do downstrokes here and go. And what I did for that was I just played the top 2 strings, I'm trying to really hit strings 2 and 3, but if you hit the 1 string, that's okay. And I'm playing pinky, pinky off, pinky. So it goes like this. This is just an E chord. So let's back up and add that all together now. We have. Isn't that cool? Once you have that lick, you can use that. You know, anytime you're playing a rhythm, it's just a great little shuffle. Now if you're doing that in a different key, that would be harder to do. But there's always capos, right? So you could play that in another key. That's the lick. All right, one other thing I have not mentioned that I should have at the very beginning is the right hand always stays in motion, just like this. Just imagine you got a drumstick in your hand and you're going bang, 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 bang. You're hitting on a drum. That's the motion. So, you know, keep that in mind. As you get more comfortable with this, you'll get that. You'll feel it that way. It's going to feel kind of awkward in the beginning as you're trying to get that strum down. But just remember, you got a drumstick in your hand. That's what you're doing. Okay, let me back up. Let's do a quick review up to where we're at. now at this point it just repeats. I go right back to the E chord. Up to the B7, and then that little lick. And that's really where we're going to get for this part 1 video. I don't want to, well, there's another whole half to this, and that's going to be in the part 2. But I thought that this would give you enough material to understand, to really break down that rhythm and be able to do it and understand all the kind of the whys behind how it works. Just remember, drumstick in your hand, dot, 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 dot. And once you get that feel down, you won't want it to end. It's very intoxicating. Okay, I will see you in part 2.